Summer has finally started, but in a couple months, some of you guys are going to have your first experience, your first year at college. So, what is it going to be like? The first thing that you should all know is that a week is going to be very tiring. While I can't really say like what you're going to be doing during the entire week, I will say that it's going to be getting up early to do, whatever activities they're going to let you do, and then staying up late for just like hanging out with your O-week group, and then doing what we call late night, which is kind of just where your advisors probably take you out, around Houston to kind of get a sense of the area, get a sense of where you're going to be staying for the next 4 years. But yeah, overall, just definitely expect to be very tired after O-week. Another thing that I'd like to mention is that while O-week is designed for everyone to have a lot of fun, make a lot of friends, get to know a lot of people, it's also, an orientation. So there's going to be a lot of tours about all the organizations, all like the opportunities that Rice offers you, which in my opinion was pretty boring. Like, it's just kind of like presentations one after another about information on specific clubs, specific organizations that you can join. All that you can really just find online if you really need to, or like ask your advisors later about it. But again, this is part of the orientation session, so do expect there to be a lot of tours, a lot of information sessions, all talking about things around Rice, which is going to be a little boring. The third thing I want to say is that you're going to meet a lot of people in your college. Like all of the advisors, all of the new freshmen, you're going to get a chance to meet all of them and hopefully become friends with everyone, which is something that I really admire in how O-week works at Rice, because it gives you the opportunity to really engage with all the upperclassmen in your college, as well as meet everyone from your college and just really push you to give you like a head start kind of in college, because you already have this connection, these friends, these peers that you can always ask for help. The fourth and last thing that I think you should all expect from O-week is that you're going to get a ton of information about Rice in general, which I guarantee that for most of you guys, you're just going to forget like at least half of it by the end of the week. But again, I like to say that that's perfectly fine. If you ever do have any questions, Rice really offers you like plenty of opportunities to ask other people. You get to connect with your advisors at the very beginning of school. So if you have any questions, really just ask them, ask any of the upperclassmen. We're all honestly happy to help whenever you need it. So that's kind of everything I really should expect out of O-week. Of course, I can't really talk too much about it just because that it is supposed to mostly remain a secret as to exactly what you're going to be doing there. But after O-week, for the first couple of days of school, things kind of change a little bit and everyone really gets more serious about classes. So for the first day of school, I definitely say to expect a couple of things. The first thing is that despite being like a small university, only 4,000 undergrads, all of the intro classes will usually have more than 100 people, which, is pretty typical for any college. No matter how small you get, every intro class you're going to take will probably have over 100 people. But again, that's just kind of the nature of intro classes. Everyone pretty much has to take it, so definitely expect there to be, again, over 100 people in most of your classes for the first couple of classes you take at Rice. Also, another thing to expect is, as freshmen, it's definitely a lot harder to get into classes. You'll find a decent amount of classes that it's going to be hard to get into. Even some intro classes get filled up pretty quickly because there are a lot of intro classes that satisfy multiple majors. So you'll find that for some of the classes as freshmen, even some of the intro classes, it'll be a bit of a struggle to get into. But again, the advisors are super helpful in helping you create like a nice schedule for you during O-week. So I think you're not going to have much trouble picking your classes and getting into all of them, because again, the advisors, they're super helpful. They know a lot of things. They're trained very well. But just do expect that there will be some classes that you probably may not get into, even if it's intro class. The final thing that I'd like to talk about for the first couple of days of school is Silly Week, which is what everyone kind of just dubs the first week of college. And the reason why it's dubbed Silly Week is for the first day of class, really, all you're doing is getting your syllabus from a professor, maybe like a presentation from the professor talking about himself or herself and what you'll be really doing throughout the class. But despite being called Silly Week, it's kind of more just like a silly day. For most classes at Rice, or from my experience at least, after the first day of classes, things start to pick up and you're professors will start assigning homeworks, will start assigning just work to do starting the second day of school. Some classes are even the first day of school. You like get your syllabus and then immediately it's like, okay, it's time to start learning these materials, time to start working. But whatever the case is, definitely don't expect the first week to be just completely chill. You're gonna probably start working as soon as you get your syllabus. Final thing I'm gonna talk about is really just what you should be expecting for your entire first semester here at Rice. And the first point I like to make is that O Week is designed to give you an opportunity to find friends in your college, make connections, within your residential college. But after that, you're gonna meet a lot of people from different colleges, so definitely expect the semester to really be less about people from your college and more about interacting people from all different colleges. Another thing is that I think O Week kind of sets a higher image of like this competitiveness between colleges, which, during O Week you'll find that it's college v college and there's gonna be a lot of competitive spirit. But honestly, during the entire semester, there's really not much of that. There's not really that many events during your first semester dedicated towards like competitiveness between colleges. Sure, like there are people who have that competitive spirit, say, obviously your college is the best, every other college is the worst or not as good as yours. But there's really no like activities really designed to be a competition between colleges. You'll find that most of the events for the first semester, like all the parties that are made, they're all really more college specific. So your college will be doing something, other colleges will be doing their own thing. Of course, you can go to different colleges and join their parties, but you'll find there won't be too much in terms of competitiveness between different colleges. And really the only other thing that I like to touch on is the workload of courses. It's weird because I hear misconceptions on both sides. One is that college is going to be a lot harder than your high school career, that you're going to have to work a lot more. And then on the other side, I've also heard people thinking that college will be easier because you have, all this time for yourself, you can do whatever you want. And in my opinion, the workload and the difficulty of your classes, of your courses, they really all depend on what you're taking in college. There's some that are easy, some that are hard. The difficulty of them, again, is really dependent on what you take exactly. But another thing that I like to talk about along those lines, whether or not you have a hard workload or an easy workload, is that from the transition from high school to college, you really have to stay on top of things. So for instance, in high school, I felt like, there are times where I could just slack off and still do well in the classes, but in college, it's a lot different. Whether or not you have an easy schedule or a hard schedule, I feel like you should plan your time out a lot better and a lot more in college than in high school in order to succeed. I do want to say that this was all from my own experience, as well as from stories that I heard from my friends at Rice. So it may be different for you guys. But whatever you're expecting when you're coming into Rice, there's one thing that you should know, and it's that Rice will offer you so many opportunities to pursue your passions and dreams. So honestly, it's your own actions that dictate how your year is gonna be. But despite all I said, you guys are gonna have so much fun at Rice.